Hello, I am back. So let's see. I turned up the gain on my microphone because I noticed I frequently had to increase the volume in DaVinci Resolve when uploading it to YouTube, because it'd just be super quiet. All right, give me a second. Today will probably be shorter than yesterday for good reason, because yesterday I streamed for like 2.5 hours, which was fun but excessive, and I actually have things to do. So I have things to do today that I would like to get done. That being said, still have time right now in the morning to do a little something. All right. So what are we gonna do? Yeah, yesterday was pretty cool, honestly. Like the fact that there's a, oh, hold on. Aspect ratio is wrong. Got it. Boom. Much better. Yeah, yesterday was pretty cool. I liked the sepia tone filter. I liked the way the scenes were set up. Sorry, I know it sounds like I said this yesterday multiple times. I'm patting myself on the back. But because this is kind of like made up on the spot and randomly generated, there's like a really high risk that when I board one of these scenes, it could be horrendous. And by the end of it, I'm going to be like, wow, I hated this. Why did I spend my time doing it? So whenever a scene turns out like really unexpectedly good, I'm like, whoa, that's cool. I don't know. It's neat. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's very unexpected. It's like accidentally juggling. I don't know, maybe, the shampoo bottle or something like that is falling off of falling in the shower, and then you toss it into the air, and another shampoo bottle falls over, and then you're able to juggle both of them. That's kind of what it feels like. Where it's like I hope this works. All right, cool. That's the best description I can give. It is a juggling act that is highly stressful, but can also be really good. Okay. What are we doing? So, I gotta give my little intro bit. As I'm sure those of you know who watch my streams, this is Master Shots Volume 2 warm-up challenge, where I do straight ahead storyboarding based off of the book Master Shots Volume 2 by Christopher Kenworthy. Essentially, the book is a cinematography book that tells you like 100+ ways to shoot dialogue scenes. And so what I do is I have a random dice generator, and I pick 2 random sections from the book, and then I try to combine them and then draw a drawing every 15 to 20 seconds for about 22 minutes. That being said, the drawing speed of 15 to 20 seconds is on an ideal day. I've noticed since doing this that I do not tend to actually fall within that range. I think yesterday, it was an average of like 20 to 30 seconds per drawing, and that's because there was two characters moving at the same time doing different actions, and then also background elements moving sometimes. So like when there's that much going on, it is basically impossible to do a drawing every 15 to 20 seconds. But if it's one character doing something, then that's easy. So, what am I gonna roll? Good question. I don't know. I better go get the dice generator. And maybe it will be something fun. Also, I might stream again later today, in just like an hour or two. It's gonna be in Blender though, because I need to get better at Blender. Okay. Okay, moving out. That is section 8.5. All right, this is a pretty easy scene. All right, this is a very easy shot type. All right, moving out. What is it? What I should be doing if storyboarding offered more work in the industry? That was a little joke. That was a little artist humor. All right, I'll shut up. Okay, moving out. What is it? Moving out is when you get to a scene, I assume dialogue or a tracking shot, or somehow you get to here. When you're in a scene where characters are having an emotional or an intense conversation, maybe someone's crying, maybe someone's concerned, and you, essentially, what you're doing is you're focusing on all these close-ups in the dialogue, and it isn't until maybe here's character 2 who's like trying to encourage her, and he's like, hey, don't worry, the Empire is pretty chill. Maybe you should like join it. And she's like, yeah, okay, I guess you're right, thanks for saying that, really made me feel better. This is a lady. There's her hair, that little strand. And then what you do here is then we cut to like an extreme wide of like them sitting on one of those weird circular buildings on Kashyyyk as they watch I don't know, the clones assassinate the Jedi below. See, there's the water line on Kashyyyk, and there's the clones shooting and stuff like that. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing this morning. So basically what moving out is that you're starting with the close-up and then you're ending with the wide. So instead of easing into an emotional scene, you're starting with an emotional scene, an emotional moment that's intimate. And then as things calm down, then you're revealing the wider shot. Yeah, this is really, really basic. The wide shot is just supposed to be resolution. Like, I mean, alternatively, you might get something more cliche like this, where it's like two characters against the world, and you'll see them like sitting, maybe they'll lean against each other or something like that, like Spider-Man, and you know, or whatever that one thing is, cyber truck runners or whatever. I don't know why I'm making all these stupid things, stupid comments. Yeah, cyber truck runners, that's exactly what the show's called. You know, maybe there's a planet in front of them. So that's an example that probably everyone has seen in movies before, is where you end the emotional scene with a big wide shot that's like kind of juxtaposing the characters against the world or whatever. Okay, let's roll another one. See, that's pretty easy to do, this type of scene, because I like doing long takes. So what I would do is I would probably start with a long take of a character walking into a new location or setting, but then I would intentionally make it ambiguous as to where they are going to. And then what I'd do is, because it's ambiguous as to where they're going to, then I'd have them meet someone at that new location, and then there would be a reveal as to what they're looking at. That's probably how I'm going to do this. All right. Next one. Oh boy, I hope it's walk and talk. I hope that's what I roll, because that would fit exactly with what I'm already planning. All right, 4.9. I swear, this is... We're not doing this one, because I already did this one a couple days ago. This was roundtable discussion, and I do not want it. We already did roundtable, and I don't think it fits very well with this either. Ooh, okay. Herald section 10.1. This will be interesting. Okay, this will work. Ooh, this works very well. Alright, alright. Solo move. Let me read the section in the book real quickly. And we'll see. Okay, sorry. Oh, howdy. Oh, thanks for chatting. Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm reading this description for what solo move is in this book. And the description in the book isn't very... It's very detailed. Oh, neat story ideas? I don't know. Usually I make these up on the spot, but if you want to throw something out there, I can see if I can fit it into today's scene. Yeah, sorry. I'm reading the description for this, and the scene is called Solo Move. But the description does not really... It doesn't really make sense. Or the title does not describe the action that is happening in the chapter. And so that's what I'm looking at, is I'm trying to figure out yeah, this might be a scene that I need to like actually look up on YouTube, because the description in the text in the book isn't making sense to me as to how this works as a solo move. Let's see. Let me look this up. Well, unfortunately, whenever I type in Master Shots Volume 2 on YouTube to try and find this scene, most of what I get are now my scenes. The stuff I've uploaded onto YouTube. Oh, okay. Look at this. Okay, sorry. Now chat. I'm also being distracted because I'm reading someone's story here. Let's see. Who could this person be? It's called stalled. That's funny. Okay. Hold on. I need to actually get back to whatever this section is. We're I'm probably going to slightly change the description of this section. Just because it's called solo move, and you know what, I'll just say what the okay, so here's the confusing thing. In the book, it is mostly talking about phone sequences and how to do them in a close-up view. That's what like 90% of it is about. It's about, hey, phone scenes, especially in a close-up, are boring because there's usually very little visual context as to like what the character's going through. So here's a person on their phone. And there's usually you need to make sure that there's something visual happening so that them on their phone is interesting, makes them, allows us to engage with the character's emotions better, via the background elements that tell a story. But, so that's what the description of the book, or the chapter in the book, is talking about. It's talking about, hey, phone scenes can be boring, they can be messed up, so you need to make sure you need to do something visually interesting with them and add tension and whatnot. The problem is that then the book also describes the specific type of camera move that it is doing during a very specific phone scene from the movie Juno. But that technique, I don't think, has anything to do with phones. So then that's what's confusing, is that the book spends 3/4 of the chapter talking about how to make phone scenes interesting. And then it also then does the last little bit of it where it's talking about a very specific camera move. So I don't know if this section is supposed to be about the camera move or if it's supposed to be about the phone. Because the description is called solo move. I think maybe what it's talking about is, so this is vaguely what the camera move is that's talking about. So let's say, you know, I'm going to do this example here. Here's where I'm going to start my example. Let's say there's a character, they have their cell phone, there's a whole bunch of, I don't know, their room's a mess and it's broken and destroyed, and I don't know, maybe something's on fire. You know, something bad's happening. And so what the book's describing is that the camera, we can see all this stuff, so we can get context as to what's happening. And then the camera lowers and then looks back up at our main character, who then like pauses to take in like that they're about to call someone, and then they call them. That's what the description of the book is saying, so that there's a pause between the call, so us being able to see the setting and what's happening and why they're calling, and that there's a pause before the call, and then that makes it more I guess tense or emotional. Oh, sorry, someone's in the chat. Let me think. It could be funny, the concept that you're talking about. I think it mostly just depends on execution. I'm trying to think. Let me read it. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I actually have time right now today to read through this, in terms of all the descriptions. Yeah, no, it could be a funny premise. There's a lot of things that you could do with that, depending on like how exaggerated you make the animation or how much you allow her imagination to get away from her. Yeah, that's mostly just a matter of execution, honestly. Okay. By the way, I gotta get to this scene. So, let's see. I'm going to do... Alright. We can do a square aspect ratio. Because I'm feeling pretentious. I'm just duplicating my drawings right now. See, should probably have about, yeah, I'll leave it at 80. Okay, boom. Alright, so we have moving out and we have solo move. Okay, just need to add a rough layer to all these panels. Alrighty. So I think I know how I'm going to start this scene. I'm also using a fuzzy brush today. Okay. Okay. Also going to apply with this scene that maybe it's at night. I want this one to have a little bit of atmosphere. Got some rain sounds. But yeah, I'll probably be streaming again in maybe an hour or two, but just in Blender. Let's see. All right, almost ready. I think I got everything. I need to figure out what this character's walking towards. Could be like a bus stop or something. Alright, I'm gonna start the... Yeah, I'm gonna say it's like a bus stop. Something like that. Okay. Starting. This is someone like walking towards a bus stop, and we're kind of doing this shaky cam thing. This person's looking behind themselves. Alright, I think I'm going to stop focusing on the background. So they're going to be walking faster. They shouldn't be that far away, but they get a little bit away from us. Is their phone rings in their pocket as they're walking away from us. And they're close to the bus stop. Have this clean silhouette, them pulling something out of their pocket. We're good. I've been drawing on the wrong layer this whole time. Yep, because Storyboard Pro likes to do that. He likes to switch what layer you're drawing on as you're drawing through the scene. Very fun. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do this turn over their shoulder. Not an over the shoulder shot, but we're going to kind of like pivot on the phone that they take out. And then we're going to gain momentum to continue past them. So the phone's the pivot point. Maybe there's somebody on the phone that's important to the plot. So we're going down, we see it, and then that's gonna they are now stopped in their tracks. Then we're gonna look up. And they're gonna kind of still be walking while looking at their phone, so they're not entirely done moving. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna see this long pathway behind them. And maybe the text message or whatever they're reading is like some bad news or something that's distressing them. There's that long path behind them. And then they're gonna stay there for just a moment. So what we're doing is we're having them walk. They're trying to hurriedly get to the bus station or something, or bus stop, and then something rings on their phone. They check it. They're walking, and then they're stopped in their tracks because whatever it is that they just read is important enough for them to stop moving. And once again, Storyboard Pro is drawing on the wrong layer. It is drawing on the layer that is not a layer I've been drawing on, and I don't really appreciate that. Okay, sorry, I'm sounding persnickety. I guess that might be the term for it. And they're looking over at the bus stop, and maybe they're contemplating whether they're going to go back to whatever direction they came from. Someone's like calling them on the phone. Maybe they don't want to answer it, so now they're stuck between two choices. They're like, do they go to the bus stop or do they answer this call? Or who knows? They choose to answer the call. I think I need to figure out more jacket types to draw for people, because this is like my go-to jacket that I draw for most guy characters. And then I noticed that this is a female character, and I'm still drawing the same type of jacket in the exact same style, but the identifier is that they're wearing a dress or a little skirt. And so I'm starting to realize it's like, wait a minute, I need to actually learn to draw more types of articles of clothing. Okay, so they're going down back whatever path they came from. I'm gonna do the old, you know, I'm gonna do something a little experimental. Not experimental, but okay, this isn't experimental. Doing a character coming around a corner while they're walking fast. Homebound. I mean, okay, yes. Having a corner shot like this is not original. Having a character coming around a corner for as a reveal is not what I would consider original, but it's cool. Here's what I want is the facial acting on this character as they're walking by and it's being shot in a long lens. And so then that way, even though this scene is technically I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Give me a second. There's this, I forget, who's the director that does this a lot? Tarkovsky does this, Bellatar does this. He does these like shots where you're just looking at the person's face for a really long period of time as they're like walking and talking, and everything behind them's a blur. I think it was in Workmeister Harmonies. There's like this scene where characters are walking for a really, really long time. And it's just a close-up of their face. And the background's blurring back behind them. It's a great way to isolate the face. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the character turn back. Maybe they're talking to somebody who's like having a hard time, and so they're realizing that they have to go back for their friend or something. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have them look back as they're talking. And then as they do that, I'm going to make sure that there's going to be a foreground element on screen right that's going to pop up. Because I kind of want to add a little bit of, hey, they should be like paying attention to where they're going. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, we got this nice close up. Everything's out of focus. And then I want something like this to pop into the foreground. So this might be like a light post or something like that. Who knows? Not really important. And oh, I changed brush sizes. That's why. They're like, yeah, it'll be okay. And so I want, yeah, so this, see this big swoosh that goes across the camera, then helps remotivate this character to look forward. Granted, they do not actually see this. Like the character's not seeing this foreground element, but for the audience, we see it. And so it kind of makes sense where it's like, hey, they need to watch where they're going. Also adds depth to the scene. I mean, visual depth. I'm not talking about like subtext. And you may notice that the character is very far to screen right. That always creates a little bit of tension, because it means that they also do not, we can't see where they're going, you know? There's a little bit of tension as to whether they're walking into something that they're able to handle or not. Forget. So... Now, I'm going to have to be clever with how this works, because I really want this to end up... I want her emotions to be clearly changing throughout the discussion. And I also want it to be very clear that the geography is changing. So maybe, yeah, okay, I'm gonna have another foreground element. So you see there, she's very close to that foreground element. So maybe she's like going down you know, like a staircase, like an outdoor staircase at like a park or something. Yeah, because even though we're in this super tight shot, I want it to be like, I want it to feel like she's in an environment. We can't see the environment, but we know she's going somewhere. And so now we're having these diagonal swooshes. Now this would be really hard to do with a, on a traditional set or whatever, because this is a really, really long lens. I think this is a stupidly long lens. And it's a really long shot. Which means that this camera would have to move through like a whole town just to like get this shot. Gonna have her get a little bit further away from the camera. Trying to think. Okay, she somehow for some reason needs to get a little bit further away from the camera and turned away from the camera. I don't know why, but I just want to change the depth a little bit before big reveal. And there's going to be some object that she has to go behind. This might not be the best way to do this. See, I'm starting to get into my rules of like action, but I'm starting to think that because the main focus of the shot is supposed to be on her emotions, that I might be losing track of that if I start following too many different rules of like action scenes. So oh, this will be cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry. Now I'm realizing that I can do something really cool. She's gonna be walking towards the camera, and she's saying that, like, she's saying on the phone that she can see the person that she's talking to. Okay, so like as she's walking towards the camera, we're gonna have some sort of mirror or window from some sort of building. And so then we're going to be able to see the person she's talking to sitting on a bench or something like that by themselves. Oh my goodness. And so then that way... Okay, sorry. This is going to be cool. I'm going to have to speed run this though, because I don't have enough time to do it. And so there's going to be this brief pause where we can see the person that she's talking to. We can see their back. And then she stops for like a moment, because maybe this isn't a conversation she actually wants to have, but she's pretending that she does. And so there's this little hesitation. It's like something she feels morally responsible to do, but maybe feels incapable of doing it. Maybe the person looks over. No, the person shouldn't look over. The person should like look down, because I don't know, maybe they're crying or something, they're sad. And then she then crosses the threshold, which means she walks in front of this. And then we have her. So she's crossing this threshold, which means she's going to engage with the scene. And then she's going to be walking straight towards us. And we're going to get kind of to a lower and lower angle. Okay, give me a sec. Technically my timer just ended, but I want to finish this scene. I'm also doing fairly good time. I'm on panel 73. Not the best time, but not terrible. Let's just look this over. Alternatively, there could be a cut here to where when she walks in here. I think normally in a movie you'd do a cut and then you would cut to close up of the character's emotion. But I want to do this long take of her slowly entering the scene. Because I think that's more interesting. Let's see. Give me a second. Okay. I'm hopping back into it. I honestly really love doing long lens, like shots like this, where it is just focusing on the character's expressions. She's still talking on the phone, but she's clearly getting more stressed out by whatever they're talking about, and she's approaching. I don't think she should break eye contact with the audience. There should be a kind of a weird transfixed gaze where we can tell that she's looking at the person that she's talking to, and the audience is vaguely in that position, and so then her look of concern and worry is going to it's gonna make us extra concerned or extra interested as to what it is she's looking at and what happened. Then what's going to happen is the camera's going to kind of lower. We're going to notice that she's looking out of the corner of her eyes. So the camera is now really low. Should be able to see her. Okay, well I didn't draw it as if it's really low. Gonna have her, stop being on her phone because she's close enough to her friend that she can just talk to them. And so she's kind of hovering about. Maybe their friend can be another foreground element that she circles around. Their friend's got their hands in their head in their hands. And she's here and she's like, hey. She's like, hey. What's up? Maybe she looks the other way. Just kind of a thing I think people do during an emotional conversation as they might check their surroundings. Just to see if other people are watching or paying attention. Okay. Now we're gonna do, man. We're getting into basic over the shoulder territory, but whatever. It's what needs to be done. One character's head is in their hands, and then, they're gonna, I don't know, say something, look away. They're gonna be, distraught. Over something. And then this is where things stop becoming fun. It stops becoming fun when it just getting into pretty generic camera setups. Where she's like, Maybe there's something on the ground in front of them. Maybe there's like a dead dog or something. I don't know. There's something off screen that they can look at. Maybe they ran over a dog with their bike or something. Sorry, that's not very interesting drama. I don't know. I was just trying to think of something that could be on the ground in a park in front of them. And then I'm going to need to reuse this shot because I need to show that her suggestions and stuff that she's saying. Actually, it shouldn't be moving. That was my bad. Now this person's opening up based off of whatever she's saying. Or maybe they're more frustrated. Because that's how emotions work. And then we're gonna cut into, okay, sorry, you see, I said this a long time ago, that once I start getting to over the shoulder shot territory, my brain leaves the room. I stop being concerned with the scene entirely. So here we're cutting into, we've removed him from the shot because she's going to say something that's more important to the plot, or something that's going to change his opinion. And so that way, when she's the only one in the shot, it's going to make it stand out a little bit more. It makes it feel like a bit more focused. If that makes sense. And so then now she's going to be really far off here. We're going to be even closer to him. And maybe we get a little bit of his face. I don't know where to take this. The interesting part's already over. Everything I wanted to do, I already did with this scene. It's just I want to wrap it up because it's not a finished narrative. All right, I'm gonna pause my timer. Okay, what could be going on? Okay, walk in, go to the bus stop, gets a phone call. Seems like it's important. She turns around. She goes this way. We'll get this long lens shot for trying to meet up with a friend. Maybe it's a conversation she doesn't want to have. Okay. Logically, what happens next is we get some kind of... I think there should be something that's dead in front of them. Just something. Like maybe this guy accidentally killed something, or I don't know. So then that way, there's always something for the character to look off screen to then make us like question what it is that they're talking about, or that we can get the context from what they're saying, that there's something. It's like, oh yeah, I ran over a, I don't know, a squirrel with my bike or something. I don't know. Something like that. She still has some nervous energy and is looking around. You know. I have no idea where to take this. Because so much of this scene requires me to understand these characters and what their dynamic is. And I have no idea what it is. Dang it. I wrote myself into a corner. I'm very frustrated. Maybe he says something that makes her think. Maybe she's like trying to encourage him. Then he says something that makes her kind of like go like, oh, frick. Trying to think how I could end this. Could have a shot where they're both sitting there staring at the something. So then that way they feel more connected. Or we could have a reverse shot. Them both at the bench, looking at the thing. Looking at the same thing. This could be like a cut on action. Here's him with his, there's his bike or something. And then there's like, I don't know. You know, there's gonna be like a little park light, you know, they have. And there's a trash can over there. And so the, you know, he ran over like a dog or something. Like a small rabid dog. And it's dead. Blech. Sorry, I know this is the content that you guys subscribe for. I was trying to figure out some weird thing that would happen to someone that'd make them emotional, but maybe not rationally. Or, okay, I'm not saying it's irrational to be sad at a dead dog. I'm saying that the level of drama for this. Yeah, sorry, I wrote myself totally into a corner with this one. In a movie, this would be kind of a symbolic scene. It would kind of be like symbolic of some some bigger aspect of the movie's plot or narrative, or like character arc. So maybe this character, she's like, I don't know, helped multiple friends and things keep on getting worse and worse. And maybe things, or I don't know, something like that, where it's like, or maybe she just went through a breakup in a relationship and she feels responsible for it, and so like this somehow symbolizes that. And so yeah, I don't know, I'm just spitballing and saying like how a scene like this could fit into a bigger project. Either way, I am done. I got stuff to do. I got places to go. I got other things to storyboard. Well, thank you very much for your time. Also, these are these elements up here are annoying me because they're in tangent with the top of the frame. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna go. Have a great rest of your day. See ya. Oh wait, I didn't walk through the scene. Never mind. Give me a second. I didn't walk through it. Okay, gonna walk through the scene. Okay, we see a bus stop, something like that. Camera walking towards it. This protagonist, she's walking towards it. She looks back. She's walking, getting closer, and then cell phone rings. Pivot. She's still walking, but slowly. Someone's calling her. Does she pick it up? She sits there, or stands there. She decides to answer the call, and she already knows where the person is. And she's like, hey, you know, what's up? Person's going through a bad time. Oh, I did something terrible. And she's like, oh, it'll be okay. He's like, no, it's like, I hate myself or something like that. Like, this guy's having an emotional breakdown on the other end. And she, like, catches up. She's like, hey, I can see you. And so this is like a window, a reflection. And she gets closer and closer. And then she gets to the person and is like, hey, what's up? He's like, I can't believe I did it. And she looks down and it's like, she takes a little glance. And he says something. She says something that's trying to be encouraging. It kind of maybe works, but doesn't fully. She's like, it's okay. People run over dogs all the time. I remember when he's like, oh, it was, I don't know what he says. He says something that counters her point. And then that makes her realize, like, oh. She's like, okay, this is something maybe a little more, I don't know, a little different. Maybe it was like a dog that his, like, I don't know, his mom gave him or something like that. So there's some emotional baggage for this dog to get run over. I don't know. Something like that. I guess there should be a spoiler at the beginning of this storyboard sequence. Does the dog die at the end? The answer is yes. Alright, cool. Well, thank you for watching this stream. I gotta go. See you.